And we have a slight technical issue that we need to fix before we can start the game. We'll be with you shortly. We apologize for the inconvenience. All right, I have a feed from the racks. We're still getting the board feed set up. Kenneth is going first. The game has started. He's holding a blank, and Jackson has drawn a Tizane rack. So both players are going to be starting off strongly in this game, and so it promises to be a pretty good shootout from the start. Kenneth actually only has one TWL bingo on his rack. It looks quite promising, and there is some milk and honey on his rack, but it's going to take and he doesn't play it. It looks like he's played Pirogue instead. He had Pinora. So Jackson is surely, well, he's already played his bingo. I'll have to wait until I get the feed before I know exactly what he played and where it fit. But it went down in absolutely no time whatsoever. So a happy beginning for Jackson Smiley, and a difficult miss to start out for Kenneth. We'll get you updated We'll get you updated scores. The racks are updated. We'll get you the updated scores and board position in just a moment. Yeah, Jackson did probably play K-Knights for the double-double. And Kenneth just bingoed probably with cleavage or something like that. Through the A. And yep, Scavenge was Kenneth's bingo. So K-Knights went down, and then Scavenge, and then Jackson missed. No, he didn't have Feasance to play through. Okay, so we have right now, we are looking at the current board position and score. It is Kenneth's turn. He is... And he has played off both aces with Hora. That looks like pretty tops as far as plays go. Does what he needs to do, scores well. Deals with the H problem. And so now Jackson has a bit of an awkward rack. It's balanced. There are plenty of things to do with it. There's 30-point plays. There's 20-point plays. So, you know, he has a few choices. No bingos for him, and he cleans up the rack, plays Bene for Bene for 25. No. He plays that, and I didn't have the rack right. Oh, no, I did. So yeah, Bene for 25, keeping AENS. It's a solid play. Players are moving somewhat quickly. We are about a quarter of the way through the game at least. And Jackson is just under 24 minutes on his clock, so these plays so far have been pretty instant from Jackson. And Jackson is sitting on a very fortuitous rack. It seems unlikely that the N he's going to need to bingo through is going to be blocked. That's just not a very intense spot on the board. That blank N is pretty pretty inoffensive. It doesn't look like it's going to get look like it's going to get blocked. There's no reason for Kenneth to play there. There are a lot of scoring opportunities elsewhere on the board. You're looking at areas like this. You're looking at areas like this with the K to score, and you're looking mainly down at this H11 spot. So that's where I'm expecting. I would expect to see Kenneth play. All of these areas would leave the N and Scavenger open for Anurins or something similar. And in fact, Kenneth does play Grip down, taking advantage of the N10 hotspot. And again, Jackson immediately places bingo. And it is the only bingo available. So yeah, Jackson has gone out to a good size lead. Not quite a full bingo, but definitely a good lead. This despite the disadvantage of his opponent having an opening rack bingo and an opening rack blank. He's playing very quickly, so later on he should be very well insulated from time control problems. Kenneth has had a nightmare draw, just picked UWW out of the bag, and it looks like, well, I don't know what he's thinking. He's separated WTW from the other letters on his rack. If he's considering an exchange, I don't know why he wouldn't also exchange the U. And if he's considering playing, I don't know. Oh, he's considering playing Vault, the AULT, keeping WTW. Dealing with the W's is probably a more pressing concern. Something like WA, or even WA at K3. Crossing the W. WOW actually fits. Just drop the two W's. G7, G9. Actually, WOW is probably a pretty solid play leave-wise, but he does, in fact, lay down Vault, which, WOW scores 10 points more and gives you a better leave. But Vault is... You're looking at this rack in two stages. You have to deal with the W's, you have to deal with the U, and you're not going to deal with them at the same time. So if he plays Vault holding the W's, figuring he has WOW and maybe WA at 5I or something next turn, that's a plan. That's a plan, and we'll see how it works out. I think dealing with the W's probably would be the more pressing concern, but scoring with both the W's and the U's on separate turns is your path out. Is your path out of the wilderness with this particular rack. Jackson plays Book It, which appears it was held. He's now drawing tiles, and he may still be on hold because it looks like they're not being mixed with the other tiles on his rack. So should it be challenged off the board? That's our big question here. And Book It. They are writing things. It is, and the tiles have gone on the rack. Book It has been accepted. For what it's worth, Quackle has Book It as superior to any plays that are actual.
It sounds like, as it worked out, it was a fine choice.
Yeah, Book It is superior to plays that are actual words. So well done, Jackson. He's been bucketing up. Wah goes down, still not hitting that G7, G9 spot to drop the W's, which one thinks would be a better play. And then Kenneth then pulled an upside down M out of the board to even add further insult. But luckily he was able to right the uprooted tile and did not have any issue. Jackson has unhelpfully put his pen in front of the rack camera, so I'm absolutely guessing at the last couple letters on his rack. Jackson's still on the happy side of 20 minutes on his clock, and Kenneth is just a smidge under 13. Jackson is on turn right now. And he it pretty standard play of Phantom. There were some other choices. He could have played something like Vim or Phylum, but Phantom looks just fine. As far as the shape of the board goes, Jackson has only a tempo lead, so we're really not looking at doing some weird stuff as far as either playing especially closed or open on the board at this time. It's a pretty neutral as far as you would go, wanting to create or create or restrict volatility. There's actually and there's still a blank unseen, and the disposition of that blank may very well end up deciding this game. Yeah, so right now there's the spots for scoring. If somebody can figure out you know something in this area, this is actually not quite good. You have a small dump play that's going to be available at A1. All of these bingo lanes are going to be wide open. It's unlikely that we're going to see something vertical here to block it all off, and it's unlikely that this area of the board is going to get developed anytime soon to allow something down here to block them off. Maybe something will hit down here. The S has to hook at the end of bops. This is going to be a difficult ask ending in an I or an O. This play is probably pretty likely to go down, at which point we'll see something here, which will open up in a potential H1 bingo lane. And of course, this is going to be your prime spot where a bingo is going to go if you're going to pull something. So that's kind of the state of the board right now. Jackson does have this single tempo lead. And Kenneth has played Merc, which is definitely gonna be his top scoring play. There were some other options that maybe ended up with a little better leave, but that seems a very reasonable choice. And like I said, that's the first in a sequence of a couple plays. Coming down from 01 is going to come next, and then that's going to develop the rows 1 and 2. So Jackson is down 6, but on turn, and the Merc play has opened up a sweet spot for him to get a good score, playing 0 horizontally on row 3, which he does. This leaves Kenneth with a difficult rack. That rack of all 1-point tiles with no bingo to show for it. So we're gonna see how he chooses to deal with this ordeal. And Jackson isn't sniffing bingo at all, but he does continue to draw some tiles that are going to be scoring type tiles. So if he can keep Kenneth from bingoing, he's going to be able to keep the scoring pressure up and maintain his tempo lead. The one thing that 0 did as a play is it shut down the possibility of this 0-1 play. Unless I don't even think Ish is in the TWL, so that's not going to be a possibility. So, and also there's no play here on row 2. This bingo lane on row 3 is completely demolished. So it's actually going to be really hard to get anything going on row 1. What you're really going to have to do is maybe make some sort of play here with a front hook. That it's going to be really difficult. So this is pretty much all dead space now. This is going to be pretty much dead space. There probably is going to be some play at A1 at some point this game, which